Howdy, what's going on, y'all? So today is the whole front side of our body today, and that will include chest, biceps, probably some shoulders, a little bit of abs, which I'm going to like superset on each set with the weighted crunches. Let me think, what else? Quads and adductors, which will be first. So overall, I'm excited, I'm ready to get going, but you may be asking yourself, or basically you're asking me, why are you wearing a hoodie? It's summertime. It's 82 degrees right now, which isn't the most hot ever, but it's still hot for a hoodie. And for one, in my workouts, personally, I always like to sweat. Like when I see, you know, like when I feel like I've sweat more in a day or whatever, I feel like I've worked out harder for some reason, just in my own opinion. And, you know, whenever I feel like I don't sweat at all, I just feel like I didn't waste a workout because I was still training intense. And, you know, sweating isn't the most essential thing in a workout, and that's just how my body works. But, you know, I just feel like with sweat, you've had a better workout, which I know isn't always the case. Because running, you're going to definitely sweat a lot more than doing, you know, your normal bodybuilding routine. And you're not building muscle on the running part, you know. But what it does also do is it allows you to burn more calories, right? So if you care about that, you know, like let's just say you're cutting, wear a hoodie all the time. It's, you know, great for that because you're keeping more heat in. So, and then also it allows you to stay warmed up better. So like what I mean by that is, let's say you're going for like a bench PR, we'll just say that. And what I recommend is don't be doing PRs in, you know, like a tank top and stuff. Like you can, like I'm not gonna say you can't, but what I would recommend is if you want to like stay injury free for as long as possible, wear thicker, heavier clothes, right? Like don't wear a whole Mount Everest outfit to the gym, but a hoodie, maybe some sweatpants. I got a hoodie and shorts on today, and then I got a t-shirt and then my tank top under this, my beater. And pretty much what, you know, I'm doing is I'm just keeping warm the whole time. You know, for one, you don't have to warm up for as long, right? Because your body's already warm. And then if you're already warm, you know, you don't have to warm up as long, right? I mean, the whole warming up thing is to get blood flow and allow them, like, to, you know, feel loose when you're doing an exercise. Because you don't want to feel tight and restricted, you know? If you're like, that's just, the exercise already doesn't feel good if you're feeling tight and restricted. So this is just allowing you to warm up better, so you're less likely to get injured compared if you're just cold and, you know, whatever not. So that's why I think it was kind of funny when you saw the one football players. They were wearing nothing. Like they were topless, and it was like 20-degree weather. They were warming up. I'm pretty sure everyone saw that video. But and then they lost by like 60 points or whatever. I don't watch football. I think that's the metric they go off of. But like they lost by 60. I think it was like 3-63 or something. That was a college game, I'm pretty sure. But like that just goes to show you, okay, yeah, you might look, you know, kind of cool, I guess, while you're warming up without a shirt on, I guess, but like your body is already like trying to fight more when you're already cold as it. So like, why would you want to use more energy on just trying to stay warm than just literally warming up, you know, and actually getting ready for explosiveness power or PRing or just 8-rep heavy sets, you know, whatever it is. So, but with that said, we're gonna get into the gym, and I will see you guys in a second. All right, to start this workout for today, we are gonna be doing some leg extensions. Now, we're gonna be doing 2 sets of these. This is probably like one of the only exercises where I do 2 sets today, you know, other than, you know, like a bicep curl today. But we're gonna make sure we're exploding on the way up because we want some thick mommy watermelon crushing quads, you know. So like, why not just train to failure, dog? And we're gonna do rest pause. So we're gonna rest for like 5 seconds and then bang out a couple more reps. Now, this is what a lot of people skip out on because they think it's like the sus machine, so, they don't want to do it because it's sus. But this is actually one of the best things you could do for growing your legs, because you'll get that thickness, especially from the front. So just do this for 1 set till failure. Now, we got some incline dumbbell for the mommy milkers. And this is going to get you that big upper chest. We're just going to make sure we're keeping our elbows in while we're doing the movement and really squeezing at the top. Now, the only issue I have is I need probably a wider bench because I feel like my left, scapula or whatever you want to call it, my left, chicken wing on the back was kind of, hanging off the bench, so I wasn't as stable as I wanted to be, but still not a bad movement. But keep your elbows in for 1 set. Now, we have 1 set to failure on these as well. And make sure you're stable when you're doing these. So if you're going to train heavy like I did today, just make sure you're staying stable, especially with that back foot. But we're going to be training to failure, making sure we're crossing over each arm. I could have probably done 80s today, but I'm doing, every time I get 10 reps or more, I'm moving up the weight. So I was doing 80 last week, now I'm doing 90. So I'm still not going to complain about this, but just train to failure. And then after you do it to failure up here, you're going to just back up and then bang it out to failure for a couple more reps. Now, for our lifestyle movement of the day, we're going to be doing shoulder press, standing shoulder press. It's going to work on your core, a little bit of your lower back, your traps, your lower traps specifically, and your front delts and side delts. Now, what this is going to really help you with lifestyle-wise, if you're wondering, is if you got something heavy at the top shelf or you need to put something on the top shelf that's really heavy, well, this is going to do it. And you're usually not doing it seated. So standing is the best way to do it, in my opinion, for lifestyle, but sitting is better for hypertrophy, bodybuilding training, whatever you want to call it. Now, this ain't no lifestyle movement. This is definitely a show movement, but we're going to be training the biceps for 2 sets on this easy bar curl on the cable till failure, and then we're going to superset it with lateral raises for time efficiency because, as you get more grown, you get more responsibilities, so you need to be doing something more time efficiently sometimes, and that includes doing supersets. And I don't really do a whole lot of supersets, but when it comes to biceps or triceps, I like to just superset our shoulders because, you're not really fatiguing anything else when you're doing that kind of superset. Like if you're doing chest, you're kind of pre-exhausting your front delts whenever you're doing movements like this. So just train to failure. Now we're going to be training the biceps for one more set with a preacher curl. Now, the whole point of this is just to really explode on the way up, try to go as far down as you can, and you don't really have to stay up there and squeeze for a whole lot. Just a quick zap, like a quick, 0.5 seconds up there is all you really need. Just really squeeze at the top, y'all. Try to failure for one set. Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah. We're done with the gym. Pretty good workout. They didn't do abs in there today, so I'm going to do them when I get home. But I just feel horrible. I don't know what it is. So last night, I just started randomly feeling bad. It's like in my stomach, like my upper stomach region, closer to like my abs, or not my abs, my chest. I just feel like I'm about to like not throw up, because I don't feel in my throat or anything, but it's just like just a pile of like shit right up there. I don't know, it just doesn't feel well. But overall, we're done with the workout now. Can't complain about it. I had a good time. Overall, man, I mean, I just I just took everything out in the gym today. It was one of those days, like I wasn't having a bad day, but like when you just start thinking about like maybe past stuff or like mistakes or whatever, and you shouldn't do that, right? Live in the moment. But if you want to use it for fuel, for motivation, I'm not saying it's the most healthy thing ever, but I will say it's a great way to get those out, right? In like a healthier way, unless it's like, you're doing something like drinking or something, alone or something. That's, but if you're like at the gym and you just got those feelings stored in, don't let them stay in there. Get them out at the gym. Don't take them out on other people. Don't take them out. Take them out on the weights. That's why it's one of the most healthy things you could do for yourself. Not only it's one of the best things physically you could do for yourself, but mentally, I mean, it's so great. It's beautiful. Honestly, I wish many more people used it for this reason, because, a lot of people, they got all this, build up mentally that they just have stored in them, and they take it out on themselves in a negative way or other people in a negative way. You need to have healthy coping mechanisms, because I always thought originally when I heard coping mechanism, I always just thought bad. There's a coping mechanism is only bad, but it's not. If you can healthily use a coping mechanism, like I said, like the gym, do that. It's so good for you. There's literally no, I don't know what you want to call it, but there's no like downside to just getting it all out in the gym. Like pushing yourself truly. Like I've always said this, but like as a man, you need to be strong mentally, physically, and like sometimes, like we have urges, and one of the hardest things, it's awesome when you're doing it, but one of the hardest things to start out in is the gym. One of the hardest things. You're getting in there, it doesn't feel great unless you love it. Like me, I love the burn, I love the squeeze, I love the hard pushing, I love that stuff. But when you're in the beginning of it, your brain, you have these urges to stop or to do something else. Like you have the urge to just, eat like crap or something. What I say to you is just don't let those urges get to you. Don't let those urges become you. Your brain and you are separate things. That's one thing I figured out. Your brain is a completely different person from your physical body. This physical body basically isn't even real, right? You don't see out of your arms. You don't see out of your left calf. You see out of your eyes that are connected with your brain. You know? This is, yeah, your brain's telling you to do this, right? But, you know, you're two separate beings. The one person who talks out loud and the one person who talks in here. You know? Because sometimes your brain is telling you to stop, but your body keeps going, right? Your brain is literally telling you to stop. All functions in your brain are telling you danger, danger, but you keep going, and you're gonna grow from that. Our bodies nowadays are so comfortable, and when our ancestors were living, and all they had was hunting and surviving, their brain wasn't telling them to stop. Their brain was telling them, you need to survive, right? Same thing with the gym. When you're doing some heavy weight, that if you do something slightly wrong, you're up, you know, like, that's life or death right there, right? When you're about to fail on a rep, you could just, like a dumbbell incline, like what I did today, I could accidentally go back and forever mess up my shoulder, you know, or mess up my shoulder for a long while. It'd feel like forever, but, or I complete that rep, or I fail on it, and I just, you know, but there's always a chance of that injury happening. There's always a chance of everything happening. So, when you're in the gym, I'm not going to say go in there and act like you have to hunt for an animal, but when you're during those heavy sets, be in that of life or death. Seriously, if you do that one time, your workout, just one time. Alright, real quick, back when I said my phone overheated, so I'm going to keep it quick, y'all, but one set, your heavy set, go to life or death. I'm telling you, it's going to make you think a whole lot differently during your set. And you're not really even going to be thinking, because honestly, recently, there was this one set on incline bench. And I don't ever really do this, but, okay, I thought my phone overheated for a second, but I was having thoughts while I was doing incline pressing, like actually thinking, like that, and I didn't do that well in that set. Like I got like 2 reps short from where I was supposed to be. So don't think, just do it. When you're in there, that's why the gym's so beautiful, is because you don't gotta think too crazy about it while you're doing it. It's awesome. It's great therapy for everybody. So with that said, y'all, I'm gonna see y'all later. See you tomorrow for back and tries and hamstrings and glutes. So see you later. Bye bye.